pink mangoes before. I wanted to show you guys because it's so beautiful. It's pink, baby. Pink mangoes. Welcome guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, you are dearly welcome. If you're new to my channel, you are dearly welcome as well. I hope you like it here and I hope you stick around. And look, if you've been watching it this far, I think it's fair to click the like button because you just like it, right? Like and subscribe. And one thing I just learned is you need to click that bell because otherwise you won't know when I've uploaded a new video, because people are like, yo, when is your new video? And I was like, guys, I posted. Like, oh, let me go check it out. So click the bell, subscribe, and like this video. So today this hair has got to go. And I thought, what better way than to take it off whilst I talk to you about what today's video is going to be about. So, as I'm talking to you, I'm going to take it out and, yeah. Do I have any story to tell you guys? Oh, yes. So, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I went to Ada, which is a place here in Ghana. Well, I kind of have to cut it. So this is not all my hair, by the way, if you were thinking, if you didn't know, it's not my hair. So I need to figure out exactly where to cut it. So I'm not cutting off my hair, you know? So I went to Ada. I may have cut my hair, you know? I hope not. I went to Ada. I've never been there before. It's a really gorgeous place, and I'm gonna put in some videos and some gorgeous places that I saw, some of the things that I did. I'll put them in this video for you to know. And I also sound a bit nasally. It's only because I'm recovering from a flu. But you know, nowadays when you say flu, people are like, is it flu or is it flu? You know what I mean? Do you get it? If you don't get it, then forget about it. But yeah, so I'm still not feeling 100%, but I thought, why not? Just still come on here and still do your thing, talk. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm so sorry, I lit the candle without you guys, you know? Usually I'll wait for you, but I kind of started it without you, but I hope you can forgive me. When I take off this this plait, I am going to put on a sage, okay? Just so we can do something vibey together. You know, we can be in the spirit of good vibes together. How dare I start without you guys? How dare I? Okay, we got one out. Now this is where we check to see if I cut my hair. I don't think I did, guys. Okay, so this is actually the length of my hair. Well, it's longer. If you know afro, it kind of coils in. So I lost some hair, but it kind of coils in, so I'll only know when I do kind of wash it and stretch it a bit, which I'm not planning on doing. And I'm excited to show you guys my next hairstyle in my next video. So always stay tuned. Stay tuned to this video though. Now I should say be looking forward to the next video. Don't worry about it. Wow, that is the vibe we're going for. You know, very nice, very chill, smells beautiful. It's incredible. Great. So today I wanted to talk about why it's important for you to stand for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for everything. And that's what I would like us to delve deeper into today. When most of my clients come in, we get to a point where we realize that we need to start looking at their values, you know, the things that are important to them. And whenever we start doing that, what usually, or a question I usually ask is, do you know what your values are? And most of them are quite confident to say, yeah, of course, you know, I know what my values are, or I've done a values test before. And then I'll be like, okay, great. I'm glad that you've done that. And then I'll go further to ask, are these values embodied? That's where there normally is a long pause, like, what do you mean? And we're gonna get into what I mean. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, do you know your values? Are they something that you have looked into? Is it something that you've considered? Is it something that maybe you've heard about? I would love to know in the comments below, because I like to know kind of like where you guys are at, and just I want you to be a part of this video. And if you're still here, like this video and subscribe, press that bell so that when I do my next video, you can be notified. What do you stand for? Do you know what it is that you stand for? What is that thing? And just to give you a bit of an idea, I'm gonna talk about what I stand for. And usually the thing that you stand for is something that you've stood for your whole life. You've stood for the same thing your whole life, but you're just not quite sure, or maybe people haven't allowed you to fully stand for that, or maybe it's being challenged, or maybe it hasn't been received well. It's come across another way, so then you don't necessarily pay attention to. But one thing that I know I have always stood for and still stand for is excellence. And how I know this is because from as young as I can remember, I have always gotten into trouble for this. Always. Because excellence is just so important. It's so important for me. I remember so many incidents, so many where people say, oh, you know, Ida, she's just so difficult. Or like, oh my God, it's just working with her is a bit, or like comments like, even at work, like, oh my God, like she just wants to change everything. Like why can't, like, why do we need to change that? And every time these things happened, a part of me will get hurt. A part of me will feel like, but I mean well. Or, but why don't other people want excellence? Like, why is it a big deal? Why is it such a problem for people that I want excellence? Mind you, at the time I didn't even know what it was excellence. And who knows, I might talk about how I came to find that out. But for now, that's not what we're focusing on. That's mine. Because whenever something happened and it was not excellent, it would just make me feel a certain type of way. Because I would just hold you to, a high esteem. I would just hold you accountable. Because I'll just be like, well, I know you can do better. So why are you bringing this to this table when you can do so much better? And I would always hold people accountable to the same standards I would hold myself. That's how I knew how important that was for me. It was so important. I could not compromise on. I've left jobs because for me, I didn't feel like, certain things were done to the standard I believe it could have been done. And after I will bring it to the table for so long, it will be disregarded. And I'll be like, okay, well, I will need to check in with myself. Okay, Ida, is this a place you want to continue to stay or not? Because if you stay here, it bothers you. You're not happy. And when you talk about it, nothing happens. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Ida? Are you going to stay here or are you going to bounce? And I would bounce, right? Or I would continue to question it. And I'll get to a point where I'm tired because guess what? Majority rules, right? Majority rules. But you know why? Then I soon figured out that I was not in the right environment. I was not in the right environment that was going to allow me to stand for what I needed to stand for. And that's a question I want to put to you today, right now. What do you stand for? And are you in the right environment that allows you to stand for what you stand for? Food for thought. In order for you to really understand what you stand for and what your true values are, you need to go within. It's not and I'm not saying going to do a values test and stuff like that is not helpful. It's helpful, but that is kind of like a tool for after you have gone within, right? So it's not just going to find some words that feel good for you. You're like, yeah, I value family, I value, adventure, I value this. Yeah, those are nice to have, right? Those are nice things to value. But are those things that you stand for? Are those things that when you're in the midst of people and it happens, like it irks you, it like, what is that thing that makes you boil? Like it just makes your blood boil because you just can't stand it. You're just like, I cannot believe this is still existing, right? In that feeling, your true value lies in that, because something is so important for you in there that you just cannot stand whatever the situation is that's happening. So it's a matter of you going back in to understand. And one exercise that I give my clients to do, that you can do right now, is to think of a time, right? Think of a time in your life that something really, really, really pissed you off. And I do use colorful language sometimes. Sometimes you hear me say shit. You may hardly hear me say or drop the F-bomb, but it can happen. And I love to be open. This is a place that I come to be fully myself. And so I just want to, warn you in advance. Sometimes I may use colorful language. So if you're watching this with your child or if there are children around, please feel free to kind of turn it off or return to this video. I'm not saying that I'll be using a lot of colorful language in here, but when I get passionate. But yeah, Let's go back to it. Think of a time where something pissed you off, and think of what it was. Why? Like, what was happening? Why did that piss you off so much? Why was that so important? And then write that down, right? And then I also want you to think of a time where you just felt your ultimate best. A time where you just felt, I'm not talking about, when you dress up and you feel like, oh my God, I feel good because I look good. But a time where there was this feeling of like, when you take a deep sigh, like, like oh my God, this feels so good. What was happening? What was happening at that time? Ooh, I'm passionate. I'm getting passionate. What was happening at that time for you to feel so good? What was happening? And then I need you to compare the answers. Your true value is in there. Your true value is in that answer. I'm glad I said that just before my neighbor's kids started to make some noise. But it's in there. That's where your true value is. It's in that answer right there. Okay. Now it's getting a bit chaotic. See, values are not just what's important. Because family is important, adventure is important, fun is important. And it's funny because usually when I take people through a values test, you can't pick because everything on that paper is important. Every card I show you is important. It's not about what's important. It's about what's most important to you. And you'd be surprised that sometimes something is more important to you than family. Sometimes something can be more important to you than friendship, than adventure, than happiness even. Because it's not about just what's important. What you stand for is what is more important to you. And it's so important that it's a non-negotiable, because even when you deny that what you stand for, what you value most is there, your body will show you it's not, because you're going to express it through an emotion. You're going to feel it. It's going to feel yucky. It's just not going to feel good, because you are going against the very thing that you stand for. You are going against the very thing that you value, and you are just falling for anything because it's a nice to have, because it sounds good, because everybody else is doing it, because it's nice to hear. And I get why you might do that, because it brings you a sense of belonging. It brings you a sense of safety. Oh my God, what if I say this? How will people feel? And you're not the only person who's probably thinking about that. A lot of us are thinking about that. But my question now is, for how long can you? I'm not going to say for how long will you. I'll say for how long can you deny what's more important to you? For how long can you ignore what you stand for? Because you want to belong. Is it time for you to start looking at what you truly stand for? Just so your life can start looking a bit different. And when I say looking a bit different, I'm not saying it's not going to be uncomfortable. I'm just saying it's going to look a bit different. But sometimes the things that you stand for, or the things that are more important to you, can cause you to lose friends. It can cause you to lose family, to lose jobs, to lose the things that bring you some kind of safety. The things that make you feel like you belong. And that's why it's difficult. That's why not everybody can truly stand for what is more important for them. I forgot about taking out my hair, Oh boy. I did mention that one of the reasons why I wasn't able to fully express what was more important to me, which is excellence, was because I was not in the right environment. I was not around the right people. I was not in the right job, you know? So if you're probably feeling, or for a long time, you're like, I'm not feeling really happy. I don't feel happy in my life. I'm not feeling fully happy, in my friendships. Like, I don't feel like I'm able to fully be myself, and I'm catching myself performing majority of my life. And when I say performing, it's like, it's almost like you have a mask on and you have to kind of be this way with this person, be that way with that person. Like, you can't just be, I don't want to be cliche and say be yourself, but you can't kind of say the things that deep down you want to say. Like, you can hear them talking sometimes and you're like, I don't agree with that, but are you voicing it? That's what I mean by performing. If you're catching yourself doing this, maybe it's time for you to look at your environment. It's time for you to start looking at the people that you're around, the friendships that you're around, that the jobs that you're in. Are they allowing you to be able to fully express yourself, to fully be able to stand for the things that are more important to you, to be able to value the things that are more important to you? But remember when I at the start, I said I ask my clients whether they are embodied. Because it's one thing to say that I believe in excellence and then not hold myself to that, or not be excellent myself in the things that I do, or not strive to become more excellent, right? Because sometimes people are like, I really, really value family, or family is so important to me. And yet their behavior contradicts that, right? Which part of your life are you saying that you value something also, and yet your behavior is contradicting what you're saying you value, or what you're saying is more important to you? If that's happening, it's not something that you're embodying. It's not something that you truly value. It's not something that you truly stand for, because when you do, it's a you cannot negotiate it, right? So it's either you don't truly stand for that, or you don't truly value that, or you're just performing. Either of them don't feel good. I've been there. I've done that, and I know it does not feel good. It feels like shit. It doesn't. So how long are you going to put yourself in that space where you're either saying something is important to you but it's not, or something's so important to you but you're just quiet about it? You're just not doing it because you can't. And instead start looking at, okay, how can I, because it's available to you, how can I start shifting my environment? I'm not saying go from 0 to 100 real quick, but how can I start shifting my environment? And an incredible thing that I kind of want to talk about is, there are certain environments that when you're in, and I was in such an environment on Saturday, and I was not well, I was sick, but the environment was just feeding me. It was just so nurturing that I didn't even fully realize I was sick until after it. I was like, I'm actually really sick after all. Because the environment is so nurturing. What is an environment that you've been in that is so nurturing? And maybe right now you don't have that environment. How can you suss that out? Okay, there are, I know that there are apps like meetups, where you can go into new groups to kind of meet up with people who are like-minded, people who believe in the same things that you believe in. And, I'm so new, I'm not even sponsored, but meetups, it's quite a good app to get to meet new people who share similar interests, similar, I guess, goals and I guess what we're talking about, who stand for the same thing that you stand for. So that's one way of doing it. Or another way could be, looking around and thinking, okay, what is that one friend who allows me to talk about the things that I stand for? Or the one family member that when I'm around, I don't feel like I'm performing. I feel like I can literally be naked in front of them and I'll be okay. Could you start practicing with that and then just seeing how that feels in your body? And I keep talking about the body because everything that doesn't feel good in your body, that feels weird in your body, is something that's calling for your attention. It's something that's calling for you to do something about it, So how can you practice? By going into a new environment or by spending more time with the people who you don't feel like you're performing around, so that you can start to measure and know how it feels to be able to be fully expressed in an environment that you're not performing in. And I'm saying that because sometimes we've performed for so long, we don't even remember anymore how it feels like not to perform in an environment or not to perform around people. We've forgotten how it feels like. And that's why I'm inviting you to start practicing what it feels like to fully be in a space where you're like, oh my God, I feel nurtured. I feel like these people or this person was truly present for me. This person was witnessing me in my power. Oh my God, that felt incredible. To start practicing that, to start recognizing how that feels in your body. It gets to a time where you need to choose or you need to decide that it's enough. I want to start doing the things that make me feel more like me. The things that makes me feel nurtured. The things that makes me take deep sighs, deep breaths. When was the last time you took a deep breath? And a good sign for you to know that you're in the right environment is to watch your breath. All of a sudden, you're going to begin to take deep breaths. All of a sudden, you're going to catch yourself going, that is when you're in the right environment. When you're not in the right environment, you hold your breath. You hold it. And you're tense. You're like, begin to pay attention to these. And begin to start inviting more of the things you stand for, more of the things that are more important to you. And just watch your life begin to blossom and just watch yourself begin to live that life that you dream about, that life that you literally just think it's like forever away. It's here. And it begins with you. It begins with you deciding that I am going to take a stand for something because I'm sick and tired of falling for everything. I feel like this is a good place to leave it. Yeah, let's leave it here. I'm so passionate about this topic. But as always, thank you for being. And I never finish that sentence because I want you to be the one to finish that. What do you want to be more of? Go be that. Remember, on this channel, we chill, we vibe, and we heal. See you in the next video. Mwah.